So we are in our last session for today's conference. We are very glad to be welcoming here with us Thorstein, who comes directly from Oslo, Norway, although virtually. In this part, in fact, we are going to be showing some more technical stuff inside of HubSpot. So we are going first to start with what Thorstein has prepared. Basically, first of all, several words for him. He's the founder of Netly, which a company that he's going to be speaking a little bit more about in the next several minutes. And his topic is account-based marketing and how to organize account-based marketing specifically inside of HubSpot as a platform. So Thorstein, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll just share my screen.
George, you can pin him or highlight him, spotlight him. Yeah.
So just let me know that you can see everything okay?
Yeah, perfect.
You can see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be speaking about running account-based marketing campaigns in HubSpot and how to use HubSpot to create personalized buying experiences for a select set of high-value companies. So when it comes to defining account-based marketing, or the way you should look at it, in my opinion, I think this definition from Alex Ambling, he's the CEO of Strategic ABM. He says that we define account-based marketing as a lens to target your target accounts. And the way I interpret that is that you are doing many of the same tactics as you were doing in inbound, demand gen, content marketing. You're doing many of the tactics you're already doing, but you have this targeting lens where you're focusing on a named list of maybe 10, 50, 200, 500 accounts. So when it comes to the process of implementing account-based marketing in HubSpot, there's 5 main steps. I'm not going to go that deep into the first step. I'm assuming that you are the marketer or you're the salesperson and you have a team that wants to do ABM in HubSpot. So I'll focus on the steps 2 through 5, which is identifying accounts, account planning, attracting stakeholders, and forging relationships. So when it comes to identifying your accounts, it's important to note that account-based marketing is not about selling to a wish list of accounts. You're not supposed to sell to any company that could potentially buy from you. You should ideally base your ICP on existing customers if possible. So if you're using the HubSpot CRM already and you have a lot of data, you have a lot of, there's properties in your CRM, you have a lot of data on your contacts, on your companies, you should try to base your ICP on your best customers, then try to layer in unique qualification criteria and really have a quality over quantity focus when it comes to making your list. That is the quickest path to revenue, in my opinion. So you are essentially trying to find customers that are similar to your best customers, similar to creating a lookalike audience in Facebook almost, and then segment those accounts into tiers based on revenue potential. So when you're using HubSpot and you have imported your list, you will import your companies, your target accounts, and contacts. On the left here, you can see the company list. You have all your dynamic active list that contains all your target accounts. Then you have done some tiering. You've been ranking your accounts based on revenue potential. So the tier 1s are the most high value, while the tier 1s are lower value. Then you have your target, your contacts list. So these are the lists that contain all the different stakeholders within these accounts. So some contacts might be the influencer, some might be the champion who is selling your solution internally. Other stakeholders might be the budget holder, the CFO, VP of finance. You can have a decision maker, legal and compliance. And this information is really valuable because you need to communicate a bit differently. People react to different value propositions based on their role. When you have imported your contacts and your target accounts, you now can access your account plan inside of HubSpot. So the account plan is essentially a shared dashboard for your sales department, marketing department, customer success team, and it really simplifies the way you collaborate between the different departments. So account-based marketing is just not only a sales or marketing or a customer success initiative, it's something you do across all departments. And this view, it shows you the engagement on an account level. And it informs you if you have a clear next step for each account. So if we look at the top here, you can see the number of accounts you have imported. You can see the number of deals that's associated with your accounts. You can see the pipeline, so the open deal value that it hasn't been closed yet, but it's in the process of being closed, hopefully. And then HubSpot will also tell you if you are missing any buying roles, missing any decision makers. And if you do, you need to source those stakeholders because they might be important for you to get buy-in for your solution. Then you can see on the top bottom left there, you can see the company names. You can see the number of contacts and associated deals with that specific account. And in the 3 remaining columns here, you can see the last touch, which is the last touch point from you as a company. So if your salesperson called someone in the target account, that will show up here. In the last engagement column, you will see the last engagement or the last touch point from the prospects side. And then you will see if you have a clear next step plan for this account. So when you have your accounts imported into HubSpot, now you need to attract the stakeholders within each account. You have to attract the buying committee. So now you need to do account-based marketing campaigns to either acquire, retain, or expand your relationships with those target accounts. Again, you're using the same tactics with the targeting lens. So you're doing paid advertising, content, social, and so on. And you need to set some campaign goals, tactics, and timeline. But this can actually be organized within HubSpot. So inside of HubSpot, you can organize your campaigns. You can create campaigns within HubSpot. So you can give it a name. You can assign an owner to, you can assign, let's say it's a marketer or a salesperson or a customer success person. You can give the campaign a start date or an end date, give it the color even, set a goal. And then you can add your assets, and that is back to the targeting lens. You have the tools you're already using inside of HubSpot, social, emails, landing pages, ad campaigns, website pages, and then you can associate those assets with your campaign. And let's say it's a 6-week campaign. You let it run, you promote your content, your social posts, and so on to your list of accounts. You will then see the result, the end result, and the complete picture of how many sessions, how many contacts it's generated, how many contacts you influenced, and how many closed deals and how much revenue this specific campaign either generated or influenced. So there's many tactics you can do to attract stakeholders. Here are just some of my favorites. So you can do, for example, you can do account-based advertising list based on the target account names or the buying roles. So you can upload lists. You can sync the list I mentioned previously to, for example, LinkedIn, and then you can actually do advertising towards those accounts. Other tactics would be to personalize your website experience. So maybe you want a website to have a slightly different messaging depending on vertical or location or job title, or maybe on the life cycle stage. So depending on where someone is in the buying journey. So maybe you want to show a different offer to the first-time visitor versus the long-time customer. Or maybe you could, let's say you're targeting the CTOs in the 500 biggest companies in Europe. Maybe you could use the survey tool in HubSpot, reach out to the CTOs and ask them to contribute to one of your posts. You can then host that content on the blogging tool in HubSpot and engage with them that way. Then the next step is to forge relationships. So now you are doing the one-to-one personalization and outreach to each buying role, each individual in the buying committee. So this is a time when you, as a salesperson, you are actively reaching out to a prospect with content. You personalize the outreach to each buying role. Now you're using your sales qualification framework, so it can be BANT or MEDDIC and so on. You're running your qualification and discovery calls, and you're setting appointments and demos, but you need to land and expand when it comes to the buying committee. So maybe you have gotten an inbound request from the champion, but you haven't gotten buy-in from the rest of the buying committee. So when you go from the account overview I showed you earlier, you can click into one of the accounts. This is the view you will see. So you will see on the top here, you will see the number of, or the contact growth within this account. You will see the touch points you have had with that account. So number of emails, number of calls, number of meetings. And then you can see that HubSpot gives you a breakdown on the buying committee. So Amy, she is the CEO, so she has the buying role of decision maker. Brian is the VP of marketing, he's the champion. Callie, she's the economic buyer and the blocker, so she's the VP of finance. So these three people, they will react differently to different metrics, to different value propositions. So you need to communicate with them a bit differently. And again, the same columns you can see that the last touch point you as a, let's say, a salesperson have had with each person in the buying committee. You can see when they last engaged with you, and if you have a clear next step with that stakeholder. So how do you forge relationships with each person, each buying role? Well, again, there's many tactics you can use. Here are some I use frequently. So one great tactic is to integrate LinkedIn Sales Navigator with HubSpot. So you can actually find and add connections on LinkedIn when you're on the contact record inside HubSpot. Then let's say you want to find the VP of marketing within a certain account, or the one who has he is the head of marketing in a company, but you don't know exactly their job title. So you go to LinkedIn and you can do a Boolean search, and you can search for head of marketing or VP of marketing or SVP of marketing or marketing director. And then you can add some exclusionary criteria, so not marketing coordinator, for example. And then you can find all the different stakeholders, even if they have varying job titles. When you have sourced each contact, you can then start using email sequences and one-to-one video using Vidyard. And then you can not only automate, but also personalize and tailor your outreach to each buying role. So you're using personalization tokens. So let's say I was reaching out to Jeff Bezos at Amazon. The sequence here on the right, it will be quick thought for, and then it would dynamically insert Amazon and Jeff as the company name and the first name. Then maybe I would do some light personalization to him as a CEO, and then maybe I would do the same, but I will have a slightly different messaging for the CTO and the CFO. So that's how some examples of how you can forge relationships and do one-to-one personalization with the buying role. So that was it. That was all I had on campus marketing in HubSpot.
Yeah, I just want to add here, because actually this panel has switched roles with Georgi. He will be showing some stuff in HubSpot, and I will be moderating, just to give him the floor as well. But it's very important what actually Thorstein showed us, because account-based marketing or account-based approach is nowadays more and more important when you talk about B2B. So you are currently in the B2B industry. And then when you have, as I previously mentioned, a longer, a very complex sales process. So as you can see, we have the buying committee, we have different types of roles. So we don't need to always focus on the decision maker or the budget holder. We need to be able to influence other people. And what is very important here, what Thorstein mentioned, is that the content that needs to be created sometimes is actually created based on the different buyer persona, not only based on the company itself or the target account. And this is amazing because target accounts and account-based marketing actually ends up with bringing more value to the company, because you're after a huge sales closure there. So you don't like following with account-based some small fishes in the sea, but you're really targeting the big ones. And then you need to have a tool that you can streamline this process and, of course, follow the activities on which end and actually what is influencing the most our buyer personas and the whole target account as well. Which is amazing here is this connection. We spoke about that on the previous panel with LinkedIn. It's getting more and more important to, and as you can see here from Thorstein's presentation, we have several other integrations that actually can be used for this kind of account-based sales. But I will give the floor now to George to continue, and then after that I have some questions for you both guys.
Yeah, all right. Thanks very much, Ivan. So what I'm going to be showing you is just several workflow processes. Sorry, my throat is, I don't know how it is.
Too much speaking today, George, or what?
Yeah, too much speaking, but I think I'm fine now. Okay. So what I thought about what it would be good to be shown just as a short demo of HubSpot. Usually, as Jurate earlier said, we have several hubs of HubSpot, and in fact they are all interconnected. But what we can derive as a conclusion from that is that basically you can do the contact acquisition, the contact creation through HubSpot instruments, then nurture those contacts, then route the contacts based on different pieces of data that you have to the right salesperson in your company. If your sales team is like more than 2 people, so that they know which people are their responsibility. And then if the salespeople manage to close those contacts, contacts can go into the services part of HubSpot, which again, through the different tools there, in fact, we can make sure that those contacts are really well served. So from start to the end, and even getting back, because probably you've seen the flywheel from HubSpot. It's all connected, because if the client at the end is satisfied, if they're happy, of course they are either going to buy something from you. It may not be just after their initial purchase. It may be some time ahead in the future, but still that's very likely. And on the other hand, of course, they're going to be recommending you much more. So I'm going to be showing you one or even 2 automatic processes of how this happens through simple workflows. Sharing my screen now.
Yes, please do that, George.
Yes. Okay. So you should be seeing my screen now, right? And you should be in the HubSpot workflow.
I would advise everyone that is watching now just to enlarge the screen, because this is better to see it. Okay.
Yes. Basically, you can see, first of all, this is a very, very standard nurturing workflow. What it does, in HubSpot, you can create inbound forms, or they are not even inbound forms. Those are every form that you can see in a website, you can create it inside of HubSpot. So basically, you can trigger an automatic process, which you can see here, based off a form submission. So anyone who fills out any form can then be triggered in a sequence of automated activities that you can program, you can schedule to run based on different conditions. So for example, here we are showing you a real life example from a demo account of ours. So basically, if someone fills out a HubSpot webinar form on whatever page, you can even specify which page, they get enrolled in this workflow. And if we say delay that until Wednesday, the first Wednesday that we have, and the person is enrolled.
We're only sending mails on Wednesday here. It's a religion. It's like the best response rate is on Wednesday.
Yeah. Then waiting on Wednesday for this best response rate, and as Ivan said, we are sending an email to them. Here, this is really a simplified campaign. Usually, after we send the first email, based on those, based on how they engage, whether people engage with those email, we are doing additional branching and saying, if they engage with that, you can send them an email with more information, with more details, with another example, because those people seem to be interested in that. If they don't engage, usually that would mean that those people don't need to receive that much content from us. So probably we would say wait for, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so that really we know this person probably might not be that interested. Wait for that time and then try again. Here, in this case, we just say, okay, so we have sent this email, and if they open and click any link, we can be creating a specific action after that, so that a person from the team, from the sales team, can really engage with this individual, so that we are sure if there is a person who is really engaged with what we are sending them, we make sure that a person of the sales department would for sure approach them. Another approach towards that, you can see, again, we have a form submission here. We are again sending, let's say here it's a welcome email, just a demo workflow, waiting for several days. And here you can see, most people working in marketing agencies or marketing departments, they have personas. So we can of course be sending different pieces of content to different personas. So here we say, if it's persona B, let's say, if that's the Chief Technology Officer James, then send them the drip campaign case study that's specific for this kind of persona. And then if we want here, we can say if it's persona A, then of course it needs to be different type of content. And based on that, we can be then sending book a meeting link, for example, as a next email, so that they really progress in this funnel. And what's good about those workflows is that we can be setting goals. For example, if our goal is to turn someone from marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead, we can tell this process. At whatever stage a contact is in this workflow, if they turn from marketing qualified lead or MQL to sales qualified lead, stop this, unenroll them from this workflow, because what the goal for this workflow has been in fact achieved, which is very good. And here you can see, usually the good thing about CRM platforms, about HubSpot in this case, is that basically you can score contacts based on different criteria. On the one hand, you can be just having different criteria, demographic, firmographic, engagement criteria, and the more they engage with you, the higher this score would get. But also you can add this to a workflow as well. And if they, let's say, have opened an email, in this case I have said, if the last marketing email click date, so it's not an open date, but it's a click date, if they have clicked after the 1st of June, then increase contact property with 1. Yeah. So for example, yeah, if it's a scoring property and you say 10 is are the contacts with the highest engagement, here increasing the contact score with 1, you're just making them look a little more important to you as a salesperson who is inside of the CRM and trying to search for the best leads that they can contact. Yes, Ivan, you wanted to add something?
No, I just agree with you on the end with the scoring. It's very interesting. Exactly for I don't know. It's for the two types of businesses. So if you're targeting end customers and your e-commerce, so the scoring is amazing for rating the activity of a specific person. I will just touch on that if George, you will not like covering the scoring now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see, yeah, I just saw here I have mistaken. So you can always go back, edit, fix your things, whatever time you want to edit anything. So you can see for every branch of logic that you create, you can name it to whatever name is like comfortable for you, so that you really get the orientation of what this workflow is doing. And usually, if we are doing inbound efforts, usually after this type of nurturing, at some point, the most engaged contact should go to the sales team. They should be routed to the correct sales representative. And in most companies, what happens is that sales teams or sales representatives are divided in terms of responsibility based on some specific criteria for the contacts. For example, one of the most common use cases would be to divide sales development representatives based on regions. Let's say one person is responsible for Eastern Europe, another person for Western Europe, and so on. And basically, the next workflow that we are going to be showing you, that's a little more complex one. And the last one we have prepared for you. If we know the country in this case of this of the contact that should be enrolled, we can say, yeah, if we know the country, we say if the country is any of the countries in Eastern Europe, route them to this person. In this case, we have placed Ivan. If it's a person in Western Europe, route them to this person. In this case, me. If it's if the contact is from another region, let's say Southern region or Northern region, you can assign them to different colleagues, to different teams. And you can imagine how scalable this could be. You can do it for whatever number of people, of salespeople you have in your team.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's important is that you may not have this property, in this case, country populated, but you can also enroll people in this workflow, because HubSpot is giving you those additional insights. For example, if the country is unknown, you can check for the IP through which they have logged. And again, based on what the country IP says, again, you can route the people to the different sales development representatives that you have. So you can see basically from the start, from just a person filling out the form to them being nurtured with the right content, whether it be persona based or however you're differentiating people, and then they go to the most qualified of them, go to the sales team, and are being routed. This is, I would say, one of the most standardized processes through which contacts that qualify go through. And of course, after that, you can continue the automation. The contact that really is being closed into a customer, they can go into service automation, where in fact they can be sent at the end of the project. They can be sent a satisfaction survey where they can say what they have liked and not, and all of this information is in fact stored into your CRM system forever, basically, which gives the power to it. And for the one last thing to show you, if you you say, yeah, we have done it, okay, but it's very important for us to report on things. It's very important for us to really have all this data, everything that happens in those processes visualized in different reports. And this is another advantage of HubSpot. Very often you don't even need to have a specific data warehouse solution, but you can create all of your reports based on your needs. You can create customized reports for all types of information that you store into HubSpot. So basically what you can do, for example, is say what campaign is driving you most revenue, or what type of content is driving you most revenue. You can do this type of attribution reporting inside of HubSpot, or you can also say what type of source, whether it be organic or social or whatever, is giving me more contacts, is creating more contacts for me. And I cannot show you such reports from portals as we have NDAs, but I have some from the HubSpot materials here. So basically, you can. This is an attribution reporting. Those reports that show you. Yeah.
We don't see the reporting.
Maybe I need to change my
screen sharing.
Yes. Let me see.
Yeah, so while George is presenting again, just asking everybody that he stays for now on and attends to maybe challenges with some questions. I have several for Thorstein as well, but if you like, so just shoot out and ask us something.
Yeah, so just to finish with that part here, you can see a regular attribution report from HubSpot. Here on the x-axis, you can see the content.
We cannot see, still we cannot see. We see only your folder, George.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me
see. Maybe you're just sharing something, not the full screen.
Yes, let me try once again. Entire screen, so you should be able now to see them.
Yes, George.
Okay. Again, starting, that's an attribution report here. On the x-axis, you can see different content titles. So those can be, let's say, blog posts or different forms or ebooks or case studies or whatever you have. And on the y-axis, you can see the amount of money that they have
generated.
That they have generated to you. And again, this can be created inside of HubSpot. And here you have this attribution reports with different sources, whether it's whether sales have generated the lead, whether it's been generated through some specific CRM efforts, through email marketing, or any of the tools that you're using. Yeah. And also you can be doing those funnel reports in which, you know, the marketing funnel, it's the standard for our industry, in which you can say, out of all contacts, how many of them turn into customers, so that you can really track the conversion of those contacts.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, George. It's really it's a very I don't know, it's whole world that we need to show for a very few moments, but I think we touched upon several important topics here. I just have for Thorstein, I have a question to you. So about account-based marketing, account-based approach at all. So there are two important pillars on that activity. So the one on one hand is the tool, and on the other one is, of course, the content. And would you? I will ask you about what is, according to you, the secret to success of a successful account-based marketing campaign. So what we need to have, because when we speak with our clients and, of course, try to streamline an account-based campaign throughout marketing and sales teams, it's always a struggle. You know, it's like everybody needs to follow some rules or just to work on one tool. So how it's, according to your experience, what would you say about that?
So what's like the most critical pieces of an ABM strategy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say back to my presentation is definitely starting with a really good list. Don't just put anyone who could potentially buy from you. The reason is simply because if you're doing so there's different types of ABM. It's one-to-one ABM. So let's say you're going after a huge company, engineering company, for example, who have offices in all of Europe, many business units. The time investment is just very, very high. so you cannot spread yourself too thin. So I think you need to be, trying to reduce that list, find those unique qualification criteria, and really narrow down. I think that's the most critical piece. And then when it comes to, I don't think account-based marketing is that complicated. I think when it comes to the content piece, you can't write top 10 reasons for why moving to the cloud, right? You need insight. So yeah, I think one exercise I really like when it comes to coming up with ideas is like, think about 10 things your customers or potential customers should know about whatever topic. Like, what do you know that they should know more about? And when they read that content or view a video of you on LinkedIn talking about that, they get that aha moment, right? When they see. And I think you just need to do LinkedIn videos, LinkedIn posts, blog posts, podcasts, whatever format you can, or that you're comfortable with, and then just spread that insight and target your accounts. I think it doesn't need to be more complicated than that, but I think before that, it's definitely just having a really good list.
Yeah, it sounds really not so complicated, but yeah, it depends, of course.
Well, I think many companies who sell ABM software likes to make it very complicated, but I think you have all these tools that are $2,000, $3,000 or more dollars a year, a month. Yeah. When you read content about ABM from ABM providers, it seems very complicated and difficult. But I can't see how it is more complicated than I just described.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Thorstein. So it's important to highlight at the end that we are there are several key actors here in this process of success. So on the one hand, are we the partners of such tools like HubSpot, and it's important to choose a partner that is not only able to give you the technical knowledge and onboard you on the tools, but also as experts as Thorstein can give you strategy advice, can build with you the whole marketing or sales strategy, can give you advice on the content, piece of content that you need to create, and of course, some strategic approaches, whether it's on account-based marketing or other activities. And of course, there are the people within the company that need to take this knowledge and implement it on a daily basis. This is a crucial moment when we speak about success of implementing this kind of tools. We spoke previously. Thorstein was a very kind guest of my LinkedIn podcast session. We spoke about the importance of mentally being adjusted to the idea that you're going to use a tool like HubSpot in the future, and this will change your professional life for sure. And this is not something that you just get for granted. You need to invest time, you need to invest, of course, money, budget in that. But eventually, we don't have any type of use case that the team was motivated and worked with us together, and at the end it doesn't work out and it doesn't pay off. So a return on investment in tools like HubSpot is huge. I think we saw some great use cases today and success stories about that. From my perspective, personally, I want to thank to everyone that has been attending today, and of course to every speaker. Thanks so much to Georgi for passionately moderating this event. Everyone that was, as I mentioned previously, that is registered to this event will get a 30-day free trial on all HubSpot hubs, so that he can take a look around, just do some testing, and of course evaluate if this solution is the right for his business. Let's keep in touch. Let's be together in let's say LinkedIn, where you're going to receive a follow-up email from Limacon with all the information in it, and of course contact data from every one of the speakers, so that you can personally contact them. Thank you so much for attending. And George, if you have some last words to add, then I'll give the floor to you.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific to add. But just again, as you said, thank you to everyone who stayed till the end, and I hope you've taken at least one or several insights from that. I'm really pleased with what I've heard from the different speakers. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to our next event very soon.
Yeah, thank you, Thorstein, for being with us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Bye.
Bye.